The Magna Carta, power to the extremely wealthy people. And then, darkness. For more than 1,000 years, democracy disappeared from the European scene. The period instead saw the blossoming of an exciting array of alternate forms of government, such as monarchy, absolute monarchy, kingship, queenhood, and 3 different types of oppression: religious, ethnics, and for shits and giggles. As for individual liberty, innocent until proven guilty was rapidly supplanted by a more aggressive law and order approach better characterized as guilty until proven flammable. Democracy had disappeared. The people needed a champion, and as is usually the case, the obscenely rich rode to the rescue. In 1215, England's wealthy barons refused to give King John the money he needed to wage war unless he signed the Magna Carta. The document codified that no man was above the law. Unfortunately for the peasant class, it did little to address how many were below it. Startlingly ahead of its time, this extraordinary document had a profound effect on people and continues to shape 21st century views on topics as diverse as escheat, sausage, burrage, novel disseisin, and the bailiwicks of Gerard of Athy. But even more importantly, the Magna Carta set a powerful precedent for our own founding fathers. There was no more powerful means of safeguarding individual liberty than a vaguely worded manifesto inked in inscrutable cursive on dilapidated parchment. The Magna Carta served as a wake-up call that Europe would be forced to answer in about 500 years. For Lady Democracy, having lain dormant for more than a millennium, had risen from its slumber only to stretch its arms, reach for the clock, and groggily set the snooze bar for the Enlightenment. The 17th and 18th centuries, enlightening strikes. Though a promising development for democracy, the Magna Carta was mostly ignored as the world plunged into what would be known as the Dark Ages. It was an apt title for an era when amoebic dysentery was considered the good kind of dysentery. Oppression and high mortality rates seemed ready to swallow what remained of mankind, when through the darkness emerged the light that would be its salvation. Reason. It began slowly. Hey, what if we stop storing the corpses in the drinking water and see if that makes any difference to our health? From there, it gathered momentum. Soon, all conventional wisdom, from the shape of the earth to whether the ruling class could have your hut burned and your organs removed because they thought you caused an eclipse, was up for grabs. This last question proved especially pertinent for the future of democracy and ushered in an era known as the Enlightenment. The Enlightenment, with its emphasis on reason, would finally provide democracy with its philosophical underpinnings. The 17th and 18th centuries produced a wave of prominent thinkers espousing political systems based on what they called the social contract. Government, they theorized, was a sort of legal agreement between the rulers and the ruled, the terms of which were binding on both parties. It was a groundbreaking theory. All they needed now was some country dumb enough to try it before the king found out and had them all drawn and quartered. Democracy needed a fresh start. Hardy and idealistic champions who would strike out for a new world, willing to risk everything for the principles of equality, liberty, justice, and slaves. We'd need some slaves and guns, but we're getting ahead of ourselves. A new world awaited.